Namaskar and welcome to Raksha Sutra, the podcast of Directorate of Public Relations, Ministry of Defence, your trusted source for stories that celebrate India's defence forces and their unbelievable commitment to the nation. It's the 15th of January. This year, we are celebrating 77th Army Day, and today's episode is truly special. Army Day symbolizes not just a historic moment, but the very spirit of courage, sacrifice and service that defines the Indian Army. By the way, before I start the episode and introduce my guest to everyone, let me quickly tell you that why we celebrate Army Day and what is so significant about this date, 15th of January. Well, long story short, every year on 15th of January, we pause to honor the legacy of this monumental transition in our history. On this day in 1949, General K.M. Cariappa, later Field Marshal, took command of the Indian Army from General Sir F.R.R. Busher, the last British Commander-in-Chief. This marked the dawn of a new era, as General K.M. Cariappa became the first Indian Commander-in-Chief of independent India. This milestone reminds us the Army's journey from its origin in the East India Company to the British Indian Army and eventually to the proud and independent Indian Army we know today. The Indian Army's legacy is not just one of the battles fought. It is the legacy of honor, built over centuries. From safeguarding our borders to stepping in during natural calamities, the Indian Army stands as the nation's shield and its guiding light during challenging times. Today, we are privileged to have a very special guest with us, Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, sir. Welcome to our podcast once again, sir, and heartiest wishes for the Army Day. This is a very special podcast, and we are pleased to have you back on our show, Raksha Sutra.
Thank you very much. And through this message, I would also like to wish Happy New Year to all the audience and best wishes for the Army Day. And this is the second time I am coming on Raksha Sutra, so I'm quite excited about this interview.
Definitely, sir. To start this very important conversation, how would you assess the current state of preparedness and operational readiness in the Indian Army?
So as the Indian Army maintains a high state of operational preparedness in order to address its given mandate, and that is to safeguard national interests from external aggression and internal subversion. So what does it involve? Firstly, we have two unsettled borders where border guarding and management assumes greater importance, as tactical actions also have strategic ramifications. Therefore, we have the desired force deployment in place to address any contingency on both the fronts. Now come on to the LC. The ceasefire continues to hold on since the DGMO's understanding of February 2021. We, however, remain vigilant and prepared to respond to any escalation. In the hinterland in J&K, the security situation has seen a steadfast improvement since abrogation of Article 370, despite occasional spikes in violence. Our synergized efforts with all security agencies continue, therefore putting an end to the scourge of terrorism. As regards the LAC, the situation remains stable but sensitive. Through prolonged negotiations at diplomatic and military levels, a broad consensus was achieved on 21st October 24, that is to restore the ground situation based on principles of equal and mutual security. While we shall continue to discuss effective management of other sensitive areas along the northern borders, our deployment remains balanced and robust, and we are prepared to deal with any unforced situation. The other imperatives of combat and logistics support that is necessary to sustain the desired metric of operational preparedness remains a continuous process and is being taken forward through a comprehensive and integrated capability development roadmap. Now, to be future ready, our efforts are progressing on the edifice of Aatmanirbharta. So, let me assure the nation through you that Indian Army is well trained, well equipped, combat hardened and operationally prepared to take on any security threat or challenge that may come the nation's way.
And what do you have to say regarding the current situation at the line of control?
So, as regards the LAC, the situation remains stable but sensitive. Through prolonged negotiations at diplomatic and military levels, a broad consensus was achieved on 21st October 24, that is to restore the ground situation based on principles of equal and mutual security. So while we shall continue to discuss effective management of other sensitive areas along the northern borders, our deployment remains balanced and robust, and we are prepared to deal with unforeseen situations. The other imperatives of combat and logistic support that is necessary to sustain the desired metric of operational preparedness remains a continuous process and is being taken forward through a comprehensive and integrated capability development roadmap. To be future ready, our efforts are progressing on the edifice of Aatmanirbharta. So now let me assure you that Indian Army is well trained, well equipped, combat hardened and operationally prepared to take on any security threat or challenge that may come the nation's way.
Yes, sir. As we are talking about LAC, and we all have seen in the news that a broad consensus was reached in October to restore ground situations along the LAC. What if I may ask you the current state and what steps are planned for a sustainable border security strategy with China?
Thank you. As already brought out, the agreement was reached on 21st October, which has led to a significant development in the region with the disengagement of forces previously deployed in close proximity. Following this, patrolling has resumed at traditional points and grazing rights have been restored in Demchok, which is a positive step for border stability in Ladakh. Now, these actions do pave the way for both sides to seek further peace and stability along the northern borders. Therefore, these developments have been further strengthened by the recent meetings between the WMCC, that is Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination, on 5th December, followed by the special representative level talks in Beijing on 18th December, which was held after a gap of 5 years. Now, these engagements have fostered greater flexibility and confidence between the two sides, enabling the identification and resolution of other friction areas in an effort to enhance peace and stability and work towards the resolution of border issues. So, while these positive deployments are welcome, the Indian Army continues to maintain a robust deployment across the northern borders and remains fully prepared to address any contingency that may.
Right, sir. And sir, as you mentioned in your opening remark that to be future ready, Indian Army's efforts are progressing on the edifice of Aatmanirbharta. We all know that the thirst of the government is on Aatmanirbharta. How is the army making itself Aatmanirbhar?
So let me assure you that Aatmanirbharta lies at the core of our pursuits to achieve the desired military capabilities. We are fully committed as a key stakeholder in the indigenization effort, right from conceptualization to fructification of the equipment of the system, to its absorption, operational exploitation, sustenance, and finally, its disposal. The strategic imperative to support indigenous research and development and spiral production of the modern warfighting systems is the key driver, for we cannot afford to be import dependent in this critical aspect any longer. Therefore, the endeavors remain driven by the intent to provide a common platform for users, academia, industry and approving authorities for a convergent approach and a clear understanding of each other. Where possible, we are also including CAPFs and police forces too in the canvas of end state users of the system being pursued, for example, AK-203.
Definitely, sir. And when we talk about Make in India, Make for the World, and if we categorically talk about Indian Army, what about the efforts to simplify the procurement process? And it would be great if you can tell us some numbers also.
Now, efforts to simplify procurement process and enhance delegation in terms of financial powers and decision making have also been taken. We are also facilitating showcasing of Made in India defense hardware to foreign militaries to promote our defense exports and defense cooperation. So, over the last 4 financial years, if you see, 158 capital acquisition contracts have been concluded, of which 144 contracts amounting to 97.3%, that is worth of rupees 68,121 crores, was signed with Indian vendors. In 2024 alone, 16 contracts were finalized, 14 of which were involving Indian industries, enhancing capabilities in areas like small arms, long-range vectors, communication systems, and remotely piloted aerial systems. Now, additionally, 96% of the total AON, that is acceptance of necessity, accorded from 2022 to 2024 have been granted to indigenous defense industry. In 2024, 23 AONs worth 1.22 lakh crore have been approved, with 98% cost dedicated to Indian companies. Now, in ammunition procurement, we are committed to establishing at least one indigenous source for all types of ammunition under the Manufacture of Ammunition for Indian Army by Indian Industry program. Through this effort, 154 out of 175 ammunition variants have already been indigenized, and this has been achieved only in a period of 4 years, that is when we increased it from 58% to 88%.
Yes, sir. We can definitely see that Indian Army is moving towards self-reliance. My next question to you is about the role of women in the Indian Army. We can clearly see that it has been expanding. Can you tell us more about what is the present status with respect to enhancing the role of women in the Army, particularly in combat and leadership positions?
The Indian Army remains committed to enhancing the role of women with 4 foundations which I am looking at: the gender neutrality, inclusivity, extending opportunities for women, while maintaining high operational efficiency. Therefore, as regards women officers, they are being inducted into 12 armed services presently. And we have increased their commissioning vacancies from 80 to 144 in the last 1 year itself. The feeder institutes have witnessed opening up of vacancies to girls, where we presently have approximately 1700 girls in Sainik schools, Rashtriya military schools and RMC, and 60 girl cadets in NDA. Presently, we have more than 1700 women officers serving, and we have approved a study for enhancing this number to more than 2000 over the next few years. Today, 124 women officers are colonels, of which 115 are tenanting command billets, and 18 more stand approved for the promotion to the rank of colonel. In August last year, Lieutenant General Sadhana Saxena Nair took over as the Director General Medical Services Army, which is a historic for Indian Army, for she is the first woman officer to hold that prestigious position. The women officers are doing a remarkable job in the field, be it the UN peacekeeping operations, Siachen Glacier, or disaster relief. During the Vijay Divas function at home last month, women officers proudly briefed the Honorable President of India on Indian Army's Swachhta pursuits at Glacier, green initiatives, and disaster relief participation. Almost 32% of military officers or staff officers in UN today are women officers.
Yes, sir. And my next question is related to this topic only. How is the Army shaping its policies to ensure the seamless integration of Nari Shakti? Additionally, could you please provide insights into the proposed amendment to Section 12 of the Army Act to support this initiative?
Now, as regards women in other ranks, they were first inducted in Corps of Military Police in 2020, and thereafter under the Agnipath scheme, we have 100 vacancies open for them every year. Presently, we have 210 women soldiers serving and 100 are under training. Now, we intend to induct women in other ranks in other arms and services, that is, besides CMP. Our roadmap entails increasing their yearly intake from 100 in the year 2020 to 1200 by year 2032. That would be an increase of 12 times approximately. Now, to facilitate the recruitment of women in other ranks, we would be taking up the amendment to Army Act Section 12 that presently legislates eligibility of only males for recruitment in the Army in other ranks. The Indian Army stands firm in its commitment on advancing Nari Shakti while capitalizing on the immense potential of women in strengthening out our human capital competency matrix.
Right, sir. And also, since taking charge, you have focused on the welfare of Veer Naris and ex-servicemen. Can you please talk about the recent steps taken to empower them further?
So, as regards veterans are concerned, the Indian Army considers veterans, Veer Naris, widows and their dependents an integral part of extended family. And this family of ours comprises of serving soldiers and their dependents, 25 lakh veterans, 7 lakh Veer Naris, 28 lakh registered dependents, which complete number amounts to approximately 1.3 crores. So the welfare of this population is our sacred responsibility and we remain firmly committed towards it. The two pillars that underscore veteran engagement and reciprocity are that veterans deserve recognition and respect from all of us, and they simultaneously have a right to responsibility towards this serving. As part of this, the Shaurya Sampravaha series of engagement with veterans have been started towards gaining from their experience and informed feedback. This initiative includes forming veteran advisory groups, participation in brainstorming and strategic training discussions, red teaming, and veteran-led think tanks, as also honoring veteran achievers who are doing something for the society. We are also pursuing measures to augment inclusivity of veterans in the nation-building efforts.
Right, sir. And what about Project Naman? Also the Sambandh chatbot, which was launched last year. How are they helpful for veterans, Veer Naris and other dependents? As you said right away that the number is approx 1.3 crore. I would also request you to throw some light on Virangana and Veteran Seva Kendra.
Now on the welfare front, Project Naman has been launched, which is a common service center of Maiti in conjunction with CSR of HDFC Bank as a one-stop solution for all online documentation issues, including loan, life certificate, Aadhaar card validation. We have started with 14 locations and there is a very encouraging feedback. Therefore, we are planning to expand this to 200 locations pan-India. This Sambandh chatbot, launched in 2024, leverages WhatsApp to provide real-time assistance on pension, Sparsh, ECHS and other services. Over 4 lakh recipients reached a grievance resolution of 96%. It ensures timely support and transparency. Also, the Virangana and Veteran Seva Kendra, operational since November 2022, acts as a single window CRM based platform for welfare services, handling more than 3 lakh calls with 76% resolution rate. Even AVA as an NGO is playing a progressive role towards that end. In addition, dedicated programs providing counseling for stress, PTSD and guidance come resources for career transition, including skill development training and job placement services are also being pursued.
Right, sir. On this significant day of the Indian Army Day, what message you, being the Chief of the Army Staff, would want to give to our listeners who have tapped on our streaming and are listening to us from across the nation?
So, as rightly brought out, since you are addressing across the spectrum, I will take this liberty of speaking in Hindi this message. सेना दिवस के इस विशेष अवसर पर मैं सभी देशवासियों, भारतीय सेना के समस्त रैंक, पूर्व सैनिकों और उनके परिवारों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। साथ ही मैं हमारे अमर वीरों को स्मरण करता हूं और उनके परिवारों के प्रति अपनी गहन कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं वीर नारियों और उनके परिवारों का भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, जिनका त्याग और योगदान सेना की गौरवशाली परंपरा का आधार है। उनका कल्याण हमारी सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है और राष्ट्र सदैव उनके प्रति ऋणी रहेगा। भारतीय सेना साहस एवं बलिदान का प्रतीक है। हमारे सैनिक न केवल राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा के लिए अडिग हैं, परंतु राष्ट्र के निर्माण में भी सरकार के साथ मिलकर अहम भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। देश की प्रगति के लिए स्थिर और सुरक्षित वातावरण का होना आवश्यक है और इस उद्देश्य की प्राप्ति में भारतीय सेना का महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। यह सुरक्षित वातावरण विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य को पूरा करने की दिशा में राष्ट्र के सामूहिक प्रयास को और मजबूती प्रदान कर रहा है। भारतीय सेना अपने नागरिकों के विश्वास और भरोसे को बनाए रखने के लिए पूर्णतः प्रतिबद्ध है। देशवासियों का अडिग समर्थन और स्नेह ही हमारे साहस, समर्पण और गौरव के साथ सेवा करने की प्रेरणा है। आइए हम सब मिलकर एक मजबूत, सुरक्षित और समृद्ध भारत के निर्माण की दिशा में आगे बढ़ें। जय हिंद।
Right, sir. Thank you for taking out time for us and joining us on this very special episode on the Army Day. Your invaluable insights into the Indian Army's operational readiness, efforts for Aatmanirbharta, initiatives for Nari Shakti and the welfare of veterans and Veer Naris have provided a deeper understanding of the tremendous efforts being done by the Indian Army.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और बहुत ही अच्छा लगा आपसे बातचीत करके।
दोस्तों, I think today's exclusive talk with the Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi sir, shed light on the real-life dedication, resilience and innovation that define the Indian Army. For all of us, this conversation is not just about information, it's about inspiration. From strategies to safeguard our borders, to empowering Nari Shakti and supporting Veer Naris and veterans, this discussion offers lessons of courage, vision and nation building. Do you want to listen to more such meaningful conversations? So stay tuned to Raksha Sutra and get all the updates from India's defense sector. We will keep bringing you stories which inspire, motivate, and tell us the real future of the defense sector of India. Subscribe to our channel, follow us for the latest updates, and join us in celebrating the spirit of our armed forces. Jai Hind!